What up, big dogs? Welcome to the muck hole. People love to say that they raised their pets, but that happens whether you mean to or not. The animal's always learning. Every single reaction, every tone, and every routine becomes information. You feed off of that too. You both adjust. But most people never notice what they're teaching. The dog barks, and the owner soothes it, and then the barking gets stronger. The owner calls it a personality, but it's just a pattern that they built together without realizing it. And let me be clear, I don't think this is malicious. Most people just assume that affection fills in for structure. You pet the animal, you feed it, talk to it like a person, and mistake that for guidance. But love doesn't replace clarity. If anything, it hides how unclear things actually are. A lot of what people call training problems are really just communication problems. The animal isn't acting out, it's responding to noise. And since most owners never notice the noise they create, they end up with a pet that's confused, restless, and labeled high energy or anxious. This isn't about good owners or bad owners, it's about people misunderstanding how learning actually works, and then being surprised when their animal behaves exactly like they inadvertently taught it to. People often say, "We just let her be herself." That sounds nice until you remember that herself is an animal that doesn't know what a boundary is unless someone teaches it. Dogs were designed to live with us. That's their whole deal after domestication. But that doesn't mean that they're born understanding how to live in a house. Training your pets shouldn't be about dominance or control. It's just about finishing the job that we started when we domesticated them. A dog without structure isn't liberated. It's guessing. Guessing what gets attention, guessing what gets yelled at. And that guessing turns into anxiety, restlessness, and behavior that people may label as quirky. It's not quirky, it's the result of inconsistent contingencies. If you really love the animal, you make the world predictable enough for it to relax. That's what structure is for. It's not control, it's relief from chaos. People treat training like it's optional, like meditation or journaling, but it's not. Training is built into the way that pets exist. Everything you do either strengthens or weakens a behavior. There's no neutral moment. Feed the dog when it barks, you're training barking. Let it on the bed after whining, you're training whining. Yell at it for jumping, you just taught that jumping gets a reaction. Most problem dogs are just mirror images of the patterns their owners accidentally established. The animal isn't broken, the owner just lacks the awareness of the contingencies that are in place. That's the part that most people miss. Training is always happening every second of every day. It's just a question of whether you're paying attention to the contingencies in the schedule. And then you've got the opposite problem, the overtrainers. Every move their dog makes has to fit a script. The leash isn't for walking, it's for choreography. The dog isn't exploring, it's performing. There's a difference between training for a purpose and training for display. Police dogs, herding dogs, and service dogs all need tight control because they have jobs where precision matters. A wrong cue can mean someone gets hurt or a herd scatters. That level of discipline makes sense when the trained responses serve a real function. But most pets don't have jobs. They're not clearing buildings or guarding flocks. They may just be lying on the couch next to a person who still expects that same military level obedience. That's not training for cooperation. That's training for control. You'll see dogs that can heel flawlessly, but can't relax. They'll stare at their owners waiting for the next command because they've learned that independent behavior doesn't get acknowledged. It looks impressive online, but it's just control at that point. Not understanding, not trust, but learned dependence. Training should reduce stress and make communication easier. It's supposed to build independence and trust, not erase initiative. When the animal's entire life becomes about precision and posing, it's not a companion anymore. It's a prop at that point. And in some cases, we see it go too far. You see it with influencers who treat their pets like part of the set, there to fill the space, to look cute or calm, and to fit into the frame. Hassan Piker shocking his dog for stepping off the bed during a stream is a prime example.
Of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just, you're making her stressed. She just literally is. so incredibly spoiled from my mom. No, she doesn't want to come over here to see what's up. She just wants to fucking roam the house because she got to roam the house when I was gone. And she needs to literally have the same structured, regimented. I think that clip went to Trump's big baby desk immediately. I hate everything. I hate everything.
The dog didn't misbehave at all. It just disrupted composition. Whether it's total neglect or total control, both come from the same place. People making their pet's behavior about themselves. The no rules crowd can't tolerate setting clear contingencies because it feels mean. The military drill crowd can't tolerate uncertainty because it feels chaotic. But either way, it's the same human issue, needing the animal to regulate your discomfort. Your pet doesn't have a philosophy, it just reacts to patterns. And if those patterns keep changing with your mood, it's going to create confusion through inconsistent conditioning. Your pet learns what happens next, not what you meant to happen next. Here's another kind of misplaced empathy with pets. People dragging their dogs into restaurants, breweries, or stores. Like the dog is going to appreciate the ambiance. I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't. It's not soaking in the social energy of the bar, it's trying to process 30 human voices, food smells, and a kid waving fries in its fucking face. It's not enrichment, it's overstimulation. You think you're including it in your lifestyle, meanwhile, the dog just thinks the floor smells like 1,000 meals it'll never get to eat. This is just putting the dog into an environment full of cues that it can't act on. It's like bringing a kid to an arcade and telling them that they have to stay by you and not play any of the games. Dogs don't want to participate in human culture. They want stability, movement, and tasks that make sense in their world. If you want to spend time with your dog, take it to a park or a trail, not a fucking brunch place. Cat owners love pretending that they're above all of this too. They'll say, "Cats can't be trained," as if it's some mystical truth. But what they really mean is, "I never tried because I like anthropomorphizing my cat." Most cat problems aren't cat issues at all. They're human neglect wearing a fun disguise. Scratching furniture, knocking things over, and hiding for hours. Those aren't moral deficiencies. They're just behaviors that work for the cat. You responded to it once, then again, and that's all it took. The cat learned the rule before you did. The average indoor cat lives in sensory deprivation. No hunting, no climbing, no novelty. So the cat invents its own stimulation by dismantling your environment. And over time, it's not you training the cat, it's the cat training you. You adjust your schedule, your space, and your reactions around its behavior without even noticing. It's the same human pattern as the untrained dog. If you don't teach what works, the animal will find something that does, and then you label it temperament. Cats don't need to be understood. They need consistency and a way to use the same instincts that kept their species alive. Hunting, climbing, and exploring. Because those drives didn't just vanish. You can't trap a predator in a shoebox and act surprised when it starts redecorating. Animals don't copy how you feel. They react to what you do and when you do it. That's how their environment gets built. Living with an animal means you share the same environment. And that means your actions become their cues and vice versa. If you're inconsistent, they become inconsistent. If you're reactive, they learn reactivity. Not because of energy, but because your behavior becomes part of their stimulus field. You can usually see it in how the dog behaves around its owner. Some dogs move around freely because they know what to expect. Others pause before doing anything because they've learned to wait for a signal. An animal's personality is just a data set of everything you've done in its presence. And when you can see that clearly, training stops being about obedience, and it starts being about accountability. There's a simple middle ground here between chaos and control. Clarity. You don't need dominance, and you don't need constant permission giving. You just need rules that make sense to your pet. Feed it at the same times. Reinforce what you want. Stop rewarding what you don't want. Provide jobs, not performances. Provide structure, not spectacle. Training doesn't need to feel like a task. It just needs to feel reliable. Predictability is what safety looks like in behavior. And animals, just like people, thrive on safety, not indulgence. Not because it's trendy, not because you want other people to see its tricks or whatever, but because it's the only way that they'll ever know what to expect from you. If you don't train them, you're still teaching. just badly. If you overtrain them, you're teaching them to be totally dependent on you. You can tell a lot by a person by whether their pet knows what to do or not, because that's all training really is, a record of your consistency. And if your training involves a camera, a prop bed on a set, and a shock collar, maybe the animal's not the one being conditioned for attention. Alrighty, that's it. Go teach your dog something useful, and maybe leave it at home next time you go out for brunch. Thanks for rolling around in the muck hole for a bit. Catch y'all later.